Current Houston Mayor Annise Parker issued this statement tonight on the passing of Bob Lanier. Quote, "I am saddened to hear of the passing of Mayor Bob Lanier. He was a strong, popular leader who left a lasting mark on this city. Never one to shy away from a tough battle, he used his strength and popularity to push through affirmative action protections, rebuild the city's wastewater system, improve neighborhoods, and add hundreds of officers to the police force. Although he became very successful in life, he never forgot his humble beginnings in Baytown. He will be greatly missed. My thoughts and prayers are with Elise and the entire Lanier family." State Representative Carol Alvarado released a statement as well tonight on Lanier's death, saying that he was, quote, "a giant in every sense of the word." Alvarado worked closely with Lanier back in the 90s. Let's go to Fox 26's Maria Corrales, who spoke with her this evening, and Maria's live tonight from City Hall. Hi, Maria.
Hey, Chris. Well, as you guys mentioned, a lot of us remember this man simply as Mayor Bob. That is how he wanted us to address him. He didn't like these fancy titles or these fancy names that came attached with the position, the leader of Houston. He was very simple, a humbling, inspiring person that asked a lot of people to run for office and to get into this building right here and to make changes for our city. One of those persons is now State Representative Carol Alvarado, who was once also a council member. This is what she had to say about her friend.
Mayor Bob Lanier was a giant, and he loved this city. I was a young student at the University of Houston and campaigned for him when he was running for mayor. And then once he got elected mayor, I was very honored to be asked to serve on a transition team. So I was a very strong admirer of his. And he had a deep affection for the Latino community. He appointed Latinos to key positions.
One of his main focus when he campaigned, he says, was that he wanted to help the poor communities that needed better parks, schools.
He did, and he did that, and he listened. I remember I was, myself and a few other Latinos from the East End met with him early on, not after he got elected, but in the campaign, and he delivered on many of those promises. He opened the door for businesses to also compete for contracts at the city. It's very, very well appreciated. And I know times that goes, people take it for granted or they don't say thank you, but I would say thank you, Mayor Bob.
Now, I spoke to a couple of council members over the phone tonight. Many of them saddened rather to hear about the passing of this great man. One thing they all agreed on is that Bob Lanier was a great man and that he left his mark here in the Bayou City. We are live at City Hall. Maria Corrales, Fox 26 News.
A number of other important political leaders have issued their condolences to Lanier's family tonight, including our most prominent Houstonian. Former President George H.W. Bush released this statement tonight. Quote, "Barbara and I were saddened to learn that Bob Lanier had passed. A success in the world of business, he served so ably as our mayor, and his leadership surely helped to lay the foundation for much of the success Houston enjoys today. We send our heartfelt family condolences to the entire Lanier family." State Representative Sylvester Turner, who ran against Lanier in the mayor's race, released an official statement and also went to Twitter to say, "My prayers are with Mayor Lanier's family and friends. The city of Houston is indebted to him for his service." The city has grown so much since Lanier was in office. The Public Works building in downtown, in fact, is named the Bob Lanier Public Works Building. And work he did tirelessly. A lot of newer Houstonians may not have heard about his legacy, but we found plenty of Houstonians tonight that do indeed remember. Listen.
He lived a good life. He did a lot for the city. He really did. He was, we've been in his house. My wife used to work for owner Tinsley, and my late wife. And we went to parties at his house. He was a very good host, and he was a very down-to-earth kind of guy. Yeah, I'll miss him too. He was a nice fellow. And he did good for our city too. That's the main thing.
I'm really sorry to hear that, man. I heard it on the news, and it was, it was a shock. But God bless him and his family.
Well, I think he was the, as most mayors are. I think he was a developer's mayor. I mean,
well, I just remember the progress under his leadership and the beautification that both he and his wife contributed to the city, which it badly needs to be kept in that same vein.
He was a really great mayor back in my day. I was kind of young, but I do kind of still remember him, but his family has my condolences.
As you can imagine, a lot of activity on social media tonight as well about the passing of Mayor Lanier. Let's take a look at a few of those tweets circulating on Twitter. Here's a tweet from Kathy Hubbard, the wife of Houston Mayor Annise Parker, who says condolences to Elise Lanier and the family of Houston's popular Mayor Bob. He got to enjoy a long and productive life. From Susie Hartgrove, she says, such sad news. He was the first mayor I worked for, she says. Rest in peace, Bob Lanier. You were an amazing man. Rest in peace, Bob Lanier, from Bob Mabry, a really innovative Houston mayor. And finally, Bob Lanier, rest in peace. This coming from Alan Blakemore. You were a friend and a strong leader. Your impact on Houston and Texas will be felt for generations. U.S. Representative Congressman Al Green is also remembering former Houston Mayor Bob Lanier tonight. Congressman Green is in our newsroom tonight to talk about the impact Lanier made on Houston during what was a very difficult time for our city. Thank you for being here, Congressman.
Thank you very much. And if I may, let me give my condolences to his family.
Indeed, and we've heard the reaction tonight, people calling Mayor Bob a giant. Some call him, I was reading a few articles about him, one of the greatest mayors in American history. What, in your opinion, made him so great?
Well, he was uniquely qualified to be mayor. He had compassion because he did not find himself born into plenty. He was actually born into poverty. And he took that compassion to UT, where he taught Heman Sweat. Heman Sweat was the person who filed the lawsuit, Sweat versus Painter, to integrate the law school at UT. And he took the compassion and he added with that the street cred that he had from being part of the business community. As a member of the business community, he was able to push through an MBE program that is still in place and that has benefited a good many people through the years, women, minorities in general. But in addition to this, he also made sure that City Hall reflected the population. He appointed Benjamin Hall as a city attorney. He made sure that the City Hall was integrated. He worked very hard to bring the community into the politics of the city.
Congressman Green, important to point out, you're also former president of the Houston NAACP. Lanier was admired by a lot of people for his efforts in civil rights. The NAACP gave him their Texas Hero Award. What lasting impact has he had on civil rights, in your opinion?
Well, he was there when I was president of the NAACP, and we worked with him on the MWBE project. But more importantly, he just simply had that ability to be very comfortable in all environments. He would come into the community and he was welcomed, and he was just a Bob, not a Mayor Bob, really. He was known by his first name, but to us, he was a special person who was on a mission. He was a visionary leader. This city will forever be grateful for the infrastructure projects that he brought online. Also, he helped us with the hotel, the Hilton Americas Hotel. Most of the things that we take for granted now have his fingerprints on them. And he was not a person who sought this position of mayor. I think he found himself in a position such that he felt that he had to run for mayor. It wasn't something that he chose to do, had some long-term project in mind. As you know, this is the only elective office that he held.
Congressman, what, in your opinion, does his life say to other people who may be having their own struggles? Here's a guy who grew up in poverty, didn't even have plumbing inside of his house in Baytown. When he was growing up, he was a child of the Great Depression, yet here he, makes a whole lot of money in real estate, goes on to become a successful businessman, and then an incredible career in politics. What does that say to the average Joe who's having a tough time and they see what this guy was able to do?
Well, it says that you can succeed if you apply yourself. This country offers us great opportunities. He was one who made his way through life, and he demonstrated to us that one person can make a difference in the lives of the many. If you work hard, if you study hard, and if you have a vision, you can succeed.
Congressman Al Green, we appreciate you taking the time tonight. I know you were at another event. I know you didn't dress up just for us, but we appreciate you coming in to give your insight.
I'm honored to be with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.